Hey guys, it's Navjot Singh Jadeja, and in today's lecture, as you can see, we are going to talk on OLTP versus OLAP, and it's a very important topic as a part of data mining, data science tutorial series. So let us understand what is OLTP and what is OLAP. OLTP is your regular databases, your Oracle, SQL servers, etc. Whereas OLAP is your data warehouse. So it's OLTP stands for Online Transaction Processing. So it's your day-to-day data, whereas OLAP is your analytics, which comes from combining multiple sources of data. In order to understand what is OLAP, you refer to a data warehouse lecture in the channel. It will be quite helpful. Okay, now let us differentiate OLTP versus OLAP in terms of different parameters. So in terms of data, whatever data we are storing in OLTP is day-to-day data, your day-to-day transactions, your relational files, etc. And whereas when we talk about OLAP, it's a very long period of time. It's historical data. It is consolidated data, right? And as I said, in terms of characteristics, that actually helps you understand very quickly from the data definition. It's a day by day or day to day data. So the function is that itself. Whereas when we talk about OLAP, the overall function or the characteristics is to support the decisions. So when we have over a period of time a lot of data in the servers, when we analyze it based on that we can take decision. So OLAP does that. In terms of users who use the OLTP, so it's the day-to-day clerical staffs, your managers, your IT, etc. But when I talk about OLAP, it is very specific. The knowledge mining team or the higher authorities or the management, they are the one who get to access it. When we talk about number of users, they are very high in OLTP because it's available to most of the people. Everybody is putting in the day-to-day transactions, queries are getting fired, and a lot of the things. Whereas OLAP is very limited. It's very low number, and it's comparatively in the hundreds. When we talk about the usage in OLTP, OLTP is accessed repetitively and lot of data is fed in and out through the your databases. Whereas we talk about OLAP, it's very ad hoc basis, very partial basis, only when you want to actually perform or get a new set of data from the warehouse, that is when you perform OLAP operations. When we talk about units of work, it is very short, very simple. As I said, your queries, your interactions with the databases are the units. Whereas when we talk about the OLAP, it is very complex query. It requires a lot of complexity in order to get the different decisions. Now, in terms of access, when we talk, what is the access rights you get in the OLTP? Basically, in the transaction processing, you can read, write, index, do whatever you want in terms of the data. Whereas in the OLAP, you can only read. Most of the time, we perform the scans, take up the data which we want from the warehouse in terms of a copy from it, and we only get to read from that. When we talk about the data sizes, it's very small from about 100 MB to 100 GB when we talk about OLTP. But as I mentioned, OLAP is a huge historical consolidated form of the data. So when we talk about that, it is very huge in size in terms of large 100 TBs, right? This is a quick understanding of what we do in terms of OLTP. Again, a quick revision. So OLTP, the major task is it's a relational database. It's a day-to-day operation of purchasing, the basic inventory, the banking, the payroll, etc. When we talk about OLAP, the major task is the warehouse, the storage, the consolidation, and it is used for analysis and decision support. And where the differences are in terms of users and system orientation, so in terms of the customer versus the market, then we have the data contents. So we have the current and detailed, whereas in the OLAP we have the historical and consolidated. And in terms of the the design, it's ER based in the OLTP, whereas we have the schemas in terms of OLAP. In the further lectures, we'll talk about different schemas in the OLAP also. Plus, When we talk about the view in OLTP, as we mentioned earlier, it's a local view, current view, whereas in the terms of OLAP, it is integrated. So this is again the same thing in a way where you understand with little bit more examples. So this is it for the OLTP versus OLAP. If you like the lecture, please comment what you like. If you have any queries, you can always talk in the comments. And if you like our efforts, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.